According to what I've been told, the Mafia fanboy community, those who've never spent a day in the street, and you know who they are, the ones with all the answers. Well, one of their expertise theories they managed to come up with is as follows. If John Panisi was so close to Vic Amuso's son-in-law, Joey DiBenedetto, then all he had to do was go to him and all his problems would go away. Well, let's talk about that. Joey's someone I knew since we were about 10 years old, and we didn't reconnect until we were in our 40s. We had a mutual understanding and respect for one another. Most people may think my memories would be of the good times we had out on the street as wise guys, when conversely, the most fondest memories are of Joey and I sitting outside his house in his patio area, where we were just two friends talking about life. We would laugh a lot and genuinely enjoyed each other's company. I spent a great deal of time at Joey's house. Initially, I wanted to remain just his associate. I didn't need to be straightened out, and my instincts were correct. But Joey insisted, and I'm not going to get into his words verbatim, but part of what he said was, "John, you're my equal," which says a lot about his character, because the majority of wise guys don't want their associates becoming inducted, because whatever they have coming from them at that point ends. And by the way, Joey has never in his life suggested anyone to be proposed except me. What's more, our families knew each other. I loved his family like my own, and I loved Joey as my brother. He always would bring up the time when I put myself at risk to save him, which I did. I protected Joey in many ways, especially while out drinking. I made sure my night wasn't over until I had him safe in his house. And if need be, I was the person his family came to get him under control. I've mentioned this before, but Joey's relationship with Vic was strained, or rather fractured. I'm not going to get into all of it, as it's nobody's business, but for some basic background, after the passing of Vic's wife, there was trouble between Vic's older and younger kids. They come from different fathers. Obviously, the older girls, one being Joey's wife, have a different father. That trouble was directly caused by none other than Vic, with obviously the root to all evil, money, being the issue. So as far as Joey was concerned, he naturally supported his wife and took affront to what Vic was doing. I mentioned in the previous video, there was a time his wife was on the phone with Vic and the call wasn't going well. And Joey called out to his wife, "Hang up on that DICK." And let me just add, YouTube has once again upped the ante by fine-tuning its censorship and advertiser-friendly guidelines. In essence, limiting and controlling what we say. Anyway, as you could imagine, after that call, Joey's relationship with Vic didn't improve. There came a time when Joey and I were fed up with having to deal with Big John as our captain. Joey, knowing John longer than I have, knew he was a punk in disguise. I suggested he reach out to Vic, and by the way, there were several times that I attempted to convince him to mend his relationship with Vic. When I told him my idea, Joey's eyes lit up. He told me, "Yeah, we'll put a crew together right here in Howard Beach, where we belong. This is our neighborhood, but you'll be the captain." I said, "Me?" He said, "Yeah, you," and continued, "I don't want the responsibility. You'd be good. Anyway, you're a better talker than me." Joey always liked to throw that in my face. But that was all just talk. And although I'm not getting into all of our conversations, I'll give an example. Joey said a lot of things I came to learn was just Joey talking, idle talk, such as going into legitimate businesses, etc. Joey would say things, and let me just put it this way, I knew when he was serious and when he was just talking to talk. There came a day when Joey mentioned that one of Vic's issues with him was him not going to visit. So I asked him, when was the last time he seen him? And at that time, I believe he said 14 years, which totally shocked me. And I began lecturing him about how it wasn't right and didn't look good. He listened and agreed with everything I was telling him, but then gave me his true reasoning. And I never brought the subject up ever again. Before I get into what he said, my thinking was two-pronged in nature. Obviously, his father-in-law and him were at odds. But more importantly, fixing their relationship would benefit Joey's wife and kids. When a family's fighting with each other, it's no good for anyone. My second train of thought was Vic was the official boss of the family that we belonged to. Why burn such a very important bridge? It could only be in our best interest to mend things between them. However, Joey explained to me, John, you don't know Vic. I'll go up and everything will be good between us. We'll be back to normal. And then he'll look to start having me send messages to this guy and that guy. And now I have to go back up and relay the messages back to him. And it'll never end. Then I'll have a big bullseye on my back. And as he was speaking, I knew he was 100% right. The feds would be all over him. And in no time, they would look to indict him. I'll say this. Anyone who knows Joey knows that now he lives a very laid-back life. He loves to gamble on horses, drink, and smoke his cigarettes. And that's it. He doesn't want to be involved in anything. Now I'll discuss something I've never spoken about before. When I was asked by Mikey DeSantis and Patty Del Rosso to speak to Joey about delivering a message to Vic, one that the Brooklyn faction wanted to step in and take the family over, I went to see Joey, and we took a walk up his block. And he was pissed. And I've spoken about this part before. He told me that Bubsy and other people were all coming to him to send messages to Vic regarding the same message that I had for him. And I just listened. He was annoyed and felt they should use protocol and go through their captains, not him. And here's what I never mentioned. He turned to me and said, I could be the boss if I wanted to. All I have to do is go up on a visit, but I don't want it, and I'm not going up there. I never told Joey why I was there to see him that day. What was I going to do? Turn around after listening to him say all that and say, oh, by the way, Mikey DeSantis wants you to get a message to Vic. Nope. I remained quiet. And when I left him, I met with Patty and told him, forget about using Joey to send any messages. And I explained what took place. Obviously, Mikey found an alternative way to get Vic the message, and the rest is history. Please remember to like this video if you haven't already. And for anyone that wants to show appreciation for videos like this, or help me to continue putting out content, you can do so by the Super Thanks icon down below, or the PayPal Cash App links in the video's description. When the time came and I finally figured out something terribly wrong was taking place, I did at first think of speaking to Joey, but I quickly eliminated that thought because in all my experiences with him, he always insisted he wanted no part of going up to see Vic, or even sending him a message for that matter. But more importantly, he didn't care about mending relationships with his personal family, or about getting us away from Big John, or getting himself a position, which included becoming the boss of the Lucchese family. And to prove that my decision of not bringing this to Joey was the right one, when I left New York and was in Savannah, I received a text from Joey's wife, which said, is it okay for Joey to call you from my phone? And of course I text back, yes. I'm not going to divulge our entire discussion. But at one point, Joey said to me, you made the right decision to leave New York. To be honest, if it wasn't for my wife, I'd join you. That was the Joey that I knew. He always liked to kid around. But here's the most important fact, something that he never said. He never once said to me, why didn't you come to me?